I know life has this strange, beautiful way of bringing people together at the right moment. And sometimes, before that moment arrives, we feel this quiet echo in our hearts. Like someone out there is meant to walk with us, grow with us, stay with us. So today I want to speak not just to the world, but to the one who's meant for me. My future life partner, wherever you are, I hope you're listening. I'm not here to impress you with perfect words or flawless timing. I'm here to say something simple, something human. Don't ignore the possibility of us. Don't ignore the connection that might spark between two souls ready to understand each other. Love doesn't always enter with fireworks. Sometimes it arrives quietly, like a gentle knock, and all we have to do is open the door. My future life partner, wherever you are right now, I hope you can feel this moment in some mysterious quiet corner of your heart. I hope something inside you pauses just for a second and recognizes that someone out here is thinking of you with a sincerity that can't be forced, a warmth that can't be faked, and a patience that can only come from someone who genuinely believes in the possibility of us. I'm not here to chase an illusion or paint a perfect picture of love. I'm here to speak from a real place, a place where hope and vulnerability live side by side, where emotions aren't polished or filtered, where everything is raw and honest. I want to talk to you as if you're right in front of me, not as a stranger, but as someone whose presence I've been unconsciously preparing for throughout my life. My future life partner, don't ignore the quiet pull that might one day draw you toward me. Don't ignore the possibility that love isn't just something that happens, but something we gently grow toward, like two distant lights moving slowly into the same orbit. Life has taught me that timing is unpredictable. People arrive when they're meant to, sometimes earlier, sometimes later, sometimes at the exact moment we've stopped believing in anything new. But I want you to know that even if we meet at a time when your heart feels tired or uncertain, I'm not expecting perfection from you. I'm not looking for flawless edges or a perfectly composed story. I'm looking for the truth of who you are, the softness you hide, the scars you've earned, the dreams you might not have said out loud yet. Wherever you are, I imagine you living your life in ways you might not even realize are shaping you for the connection we will someday share. Maybe you're learning how to fight through something difficult, or maybe you're rebuilding yourself after something painful. Maybe you're discovering new layers of who you are, or maybe you're standing in a moment of stillness, unsure of what the future holds. Whatever it is, it matters. Every step you're taking is part of your story, and one day when our paths cross, your story will merge with mine in a way that feels natural, like puzzle pieces finally finding their place after years of wandering the table. I want to tell you something important. I don't want to be someone you run to only when life gets heavy. I want to be someone you choose even when life feels light. I want the quiet moments, the awkward pauses, the shared jokes that don't make sense to anyone else. I want the realness of your presence, not an idealized version of you. I want the ordinary moments that become extraordinary simply because you're in them. So, my future partner, don't ignore the possibility of a love that grows slowly, steadily, gently, and truthfully. A love that doesn't need to shout to be heard or shine brighter than the world around it. A love that simply exists, undeniably and consistently. There's something beautiful about the idea that two people who haven't met yet can still move toward each other without even realizing it. Maybe right now you're choosing a path that will eventually cross mine. Maybe you're walking through a crowd I'll one day walk through too. Maybe you're having conversations with someone who will one day mention my name to you without knowing that destiny is threading itself through that moment. Life is filled with invisible connections like that. Threads we can't see until they suddenly form a pattern. And when that happens, it feels like everything was leading to that one moment of recognition, not because it was perfect, but because it was right. I'm not expecting an instant connection when we meet. I'm not expecting you to look at me and immediately understand everything about me. What I hope for is something simpler, something more grounded. I hope for a moment where we both sense that something feels unexpectedly familiar, a subtle comfort, a sense of ease, like talking to someone you haven't met yet but somehow already understand. And maybe you'll try to ignore it at first. Maybe you'll tell yourself it's just coincidence. But if something inside you whispers that there's more to it than that, don't ignore that voice. Sometimes the quietest signals are the ones that matter the most. My future life partner, I want you to know that I'm learning too. I'm working on myself. I'm growing. I'm unlearning old habits and discovering new strengths. I'm trying to become the kind of person who can meet you with an open heart, with patience, with understanding. I'm not perfect, and I don't pretend to be, but I'm committed to becoming someone who can walk beside you, not ahead of you, not behind you, right beside you. I want to be someone who listens, really listens, not just hears your words, someone who notices the things you're afraid to say out loud, someone who understands the difference between space and distance, someone who knows how to offer comfort without taking away your strength. Sometimes love isn't about grand gestures or dramatic declarations. Sometimes it's about showing up consistently, showing up with intention, showing up with honesty. And I want to be the person who shows up for you in all the ways that matter, not just when life is shining brightly, but when shadows fall too. I want you to know that you won't have to face everything alone. You won't have to pretend to be strong all the time. You won't have to hide the parts of you that feel messy or uncertain. I want you to feel safe with me, safe to be real, safe to be vulnerable, safe to be yourself entirely and unapologetically. Think for a moment about the way we each carry history inside us, memories that shaped us, moments that stayed with us longer than we expected, people who left their mark, for better or worse. Those experiences matter. They help form the person you are today and the person you're becoming. And when we meet, I don't want you to hide any of that. I don't want you to, pretend to be someone different. I want to know the full version of you, the version that laughs loudly, the version that aches quietly, the version that doubts, the version that dreams. All of it is part of your beauty. Maybe you've been ignored before. Maybe you've loved deeply and felt unseen in return. Maybe someone failed to understand the value of your heart. And if that's the case, I want you to know something with absolute certainty. I won't ignore you. I won't overlook your presence or your feelings. I won't make you feel like your efforts don't matter. When you speak, I will pay attention. When you hurt, I will care. When you love, I will honor it. Because nobody deserves to feel invisible in a relationship, least of all someone whose soul is meant to intertwine with mine. There's a kind of love that doesn't try to possess, a kind that doesn't demand or control. It simply exists with sincerity and respect. That's the kind of love I hope we build. A love that lets us breathe, a love that lets us grow, a love that trusts without fear, a love where your individuality isn't lost but celebrated, where my presence doesn't overshadow you but supports you, where we enhance each other's lives instead of trying to complete them. I imagine us having long conversations about everything and nothing. Conversations that drift from serious topics to silly jokes. I imagine us sharing small rituals, morning routines, late night talks, quiet walks. I imagine us learning from each other, challenging each other, encouraging each other. Not because we're trying to be perfect, but because we're trying to be honest. Because honesty creates trust, and trust creates love that lasts. My future partner, don't ignore the possibility that love can be gentle, that it doesn't always have to be complicated or chaotic, that it can feel calm and steady, that it can feel like coming home after a long journey. A home that isn't built from bricks and walls, but from understanding, effort, and mutual respect. I think about the day we meet. Maybe it will be ordinary. Maybe it'll be unexpected. Maybe it'll be a moment where neither of us realizes the significance until much later. But when it happens, I want you to feel free to be yourself. Don't hide behind fears. Don't step back because of past pain. Don't ignore the connection that might be forming right in front of you. Sometimes the heart recognizes something long before the mind does, and if one day you feel a gentle pull toward me, even if it scares you a little, I hope you don't run from it. I hope you don't silence it. I hope you don't convince yourself that it isn't worth exploring. Because love doesn't always knock loudly. Sometimes it arrives like a whisper, soft but persistent, urging you to pay attention. I want you to know that when you come into my life, I will appreciate you, truly appreciate you. Not just for the beautiful moments, but for the effort, the openness, the courage it takes to love again. I will appreciate the way you care, the way you try, the way you show up. I will appreciate the small things you think no one notices. I will appreciate the way you express love, even if it's different from mine. I will appreciate your strengths and your flaws because both make you real. My future partner, don't ignore the possibility of a love that feels different from what you've known. A love that doesn't drain you but fills you. A love that doesn't confuse you but clarifies things inside you. A love that doesn't make you question your worth but makes you feel valued simply for being who you are. Wherever you are right now, know this: I'm not rushing toward the future, but I'm preparing for it. I'm becoming someone you can rely on, someone who can offer emotional steadiness, someone who can communicate with sincerity, someone who doesn't run from conflicts but tries to understand them, someone who doesn't want power but partnership, someone who doesn't want to win arguments but wants to build solutions. And when the world feels heavy, I want to be the person who reminds you that you're not carrying everything alone. When you doubt yourself, I want to be the voice that tells you you're stronger than you think. When you feel unlovable, I want to show you that you are always worthy of the love you desired. When you feel lost, I want to be a steady presence that helps you find your way without taking away your independence. There will be days when we misunderstand each other, days when we get frustrated, days when life tests us, but I want you to know that I won't walk away just because things get difficult. I won't shut down when things get uncomfortable. I won't withdraw my affection because of temporary disagreements. Love isn't fragile when it's real. It bends, it stretches, it learns, it forgives, it grows. And I want our love to grow slowly, authentically, naturally, the way flowers bloom when they're given sunlight, water, and time. Not rushed, not forced, not pressured, just allowed to be. My future partner, don't ignore the sense of familiarity you might feel and you meet me. Don't ignore the comfort that surprises you. Don't ignore the intuition that tells you there's something here worth exploring. Don't ignore the possibility that you've found someone who sees you, not the surface version, not the guarded version, not the version you show the world, but the real you beneath it all. If destiny, timing, and life bring us together, I want you to know that you will have someone who chooses you with intention. Someone who loves not out of habit, but out of genuine connection. Someone who appreciates your existence. Someone who values your heart. Someone who sees your worth even on days you forget it yourself. My future life partner, don't ignore the love that is on its way to meet you. My future life partner. If these words ever find you, I hope they reach you in a moment where your heart is open enough to feel their softness. I'm speaking to you not as a stranger, not as a wishful dream, but as someone who has carried the idea of you with quiet patience. I'm speaking to you as someone who believes that even before two people meet, their stories can already be mysteriously connected, shaped by choices, struggles, moments of growth, and the subtle ways life prepares them for the love they will one day share. Wherever you are in this moment, I hope you pause, not because these words demand it, but because something inside you recognizes that they might be meant for you. I hope you listen with the part of your heart that still believes in connection, even if life has given you reasons to doubt. I hope you allow yourself to imagine the possibility of a love that speaks gently but deeply. A love that doesn't rush you, doesn't pressure you, doesn't try to impress you, but instead meets you with understanding and sincerity. I want you to know that I think about the person you're becoming, not the polished version you show the world, but the true version beneath it. The version that feels tired sometimes, the version that hopes quietly, the version that wants to be loved not for being perfect but for being real. I think about the things you've gone through, the moments that made you stronger, the moments that left marks, the moments that changed the way you see love and trust. I think about the times you felt unseen, unheard, or misunderstood, times when you gave your heart to someone who didn't know how to hold it gently. And I want you to know that if we ever find each other, I will hold your heart with the care it deserves. I won't ignore your feelings. I won't overlook your efforts. I won't treat your love like something ordinary because nothing about you is ordinary. There's something beautiful about the thought that two people can live separate lives, walking through their own storms and sunrises, unaware that life is guiding them toward one another. Maybe right now you're in the middle of something that feels heavy. Maybe you're learning how to let go of something that once mattered deeply. Maybe you're rediscovering yourself after a period of confusion or heartbreak. Or maybe you're just living quietly, doing your best, without realizing that your everyday steps are leading you closer to someone who will understand you in ways no one else has. And when that day comes, when I finally look into your eyes and feel that subtle recognition, I want you to know that I will be grateful for every part of your journey, even the difficult parts, because they shaped you into the person I will someday love. My future life partner, I don't want you to ignore the possibilities that life might place gently in your path. Sometimes love arrives softly, disguised as an unexpected conversation, a chance meeting, a shared moment that doesn't feel dramatic but feels right. Sometimes the heart notices things long before the mind understands them. And if one day you meet someone who makes you feel a little safer, a little calmer, a little more like yourself, I hope you don't brush that feeling aside. I hope you don't convince yourself you're imagining it. I hope you don't silence the quiet pull that says, pay attention, because the greatest connections often begin as small, almost unnoticeable moments. I'm not asking you to ignore your fears. I know the heart remembers pain even when it tries to move forward. I know love can feel risky, vulnerable, uncertain, but I want you to know that I'm not expecting you to be fearless. I'm just hoping you'll be brave enough to let yourself feel again, to let yourself trust, to let yourself hope, to let yourself be open to someone who wants to understand you deeply, not superficially. Someone who isn't afraid of your emotions, someone who isn't intimidated by your strength or overwhelmed by your tenderness, someone who values your voice, your honesty, your dreams. I imagine the day we meet, maybe it will be ordinary, maybe it will be unexpected. Maybe it will be a moment so simple that neither of us realizes its importance until much later. But when it happens, I hope something inside you softens. I hope you feel that quiet sense of familiarity, that gentle comfort that says you don't have to pretend. You don't have to shrink yourself. You don't have to hide your imperfections. You don't have to be anyone but who you are, because who you are will be enough. I want you to know that when you come into my life, I'm not expecting you to fix me or complete me. I've spent time learning who I am, understanding my own wounds, growing through my own challenges, and building the kind of emotional foundation that won't crumble under pressure. I want us to be two whole individuals choosing to share a journey, not two broken pieces trying to patch each other. I want to bring my best self to you, not a perfect self, but an honest one. A self that listens, that communicates, that shows love not just in words, but in consistent actions. I think about the way we will talk to each other, the way we will share stories, the way we will laugh about small things, the way we will create our own rhythm, our own inside jokes, our own quiet moments of connection. I think about the times when you will open up about something that scares you or something that hurts, and I will listen with full presence. I won't dismiss your feelings. I won't tell you to get over it. I won't minimize your experiences. Instead, I will try to understand. I will sit with you in your vulnerability, not as someone trying to fix you, but as someone who values every part of you, including the parts you rarely show. And when you're happy, really happy, I want to be there too. I want to celebrate your successes, your progress, your growth. I want to see you shine. I want to see you achieve the things you dream about, and I won't be threatened by your strength or your independence. I won't feel insecure about your achievements. I won't compete with you. I will cheer for you, support you, and stand beside you, proud of who you are and who you're becoming. My future life partner, I don't want you to ignore the fact that you deserve a love that is gentle yet strong, calm yet passionate, steady yet full of emotion. You deserve someone who chooses you every day, someone who respects your boundaries, someone who appreciates your efforts, someone who understands that love is not a performance but a connection built through honesty, trust, patience, and genuine care. I want you to know that I'm preparing myself to be that kind of love for you. I'm learning how to communicate without shutting down. I'm learning how to express love without hesitation. I'm learning how to be patient in moments of misunderstanding. I'm learning how to be present, truly present, not distracted or distant. And I'm learning how to love with intention, not habit, because you deserve nothing less. Sometimes I think about the life we might share, the ordinary days, the quiet mornings, the slow evenings, the peaceful moments that aren't dramatic but feel meaningful simply because we're experiencing them together. I think about cooking together, walking together, sitting in silence together, supporting each other without needing grand gestures. I think about how love can be found in the simplest things when it's real. A touch on the shoulder, a smile, a reassuring glance, a shared breath, a feeling of safety in each other's presence. I don't expect our journey to be perfect. There will be days when we misunderstand each other, days when our emotions collide, days when we both feel tired or overwhelmed.